are at advanced stages of completion. Again, through the same medium, 20 townhouses and a guest house are being built to be used as permanent residences for Court of Appeal judges based in Kumasi who are mandated to handle cases in the northern part of the country. With the coming into force of the Court's Regulation 2020 LI 2429 of 16 December 2020, the relevant sections of the Courts Act, Act 459, have been amended and has led to an expansion of the jurisdiction of the lower courts. Indeed, prior to the amendment, the monetary value of cases that could be heard by the district and circuit courts were 20,000 and 50,000 cedis respectively. Today, the district court's jurisdiction over cases brought before it has been increased to 500,000 cedis, whereas that of the circuit court has been increased to 2 million cedis. Mr. Speaker, this increase in jurisdiction will ensure that more cases are heard in the district and circuit courts, thus easing the burden on the high courts. All these measures will go a long way to enhance justice delivery in the country and help consolidate the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, when I appeared before this House on 4th January 2021 to deliver the last message on the state of the nation at the dissolution of Parliament, I called for a national discourse on the long-standing issue of illegal small-scale mining in our country. Yes, in the last 4 years, so much has been achieved in cleaning up this industry, training miners in the best methods of mining, introducing community mining, enacting additional regulatory legislation. But the reality is that illegal small-scale mining remains a major problem. I am confident that the new energetic Minister for Lands and Natural Resources and a Member of Parliament for Damango constituency, the Honorable Samuel Abujinapo, will rapidly facilitate the holding of this national dialogue and will work to build on the progress of his predecessors by enhancing regulation of this sector, which should be anchored on the protection of the environment and on community mining. Mr. Speaker, let me at this point assure the House that in the course of this session of Parliament, government will come back to engage the House on the steps it intends to take on the future of the Ejapa transaction. Mr. Speaker, land administration continues to be bedeviled with apparently intractable challenges. This year, government intends to roll out a program for the digitization of all land records for purposes of ensuring effective land administration. Aggressive afforestation will be pursued in the course of the year with the expected launch of a Green Ghana project, which will see the mobilization of Ghanaians in all fields of endeavor to participate in a nationwide tree planting exercise. Mr. Speaker, in 2018, Ghana won the bid to host and organize the 2023 African Games for the first time since the tournament started in 1965. A 9-member local organizing committee has been constituted and inaugurated to handle the technical and events aspects of the 2023 Africa Games. Government intends to provide maximum support to the NOC to help ensure we organize and host successful games. The construction of 10 youth resource centers across the country, which are at different levels of completion between 85 and 95%. We are as well renovating and rehabilitating many other abandoned sports facilities We're paying allowances to about 1,000 athletes through the Youth Employment Agencies. The Ghana Premier League has started, and hopefully, when we return to normalcy, capping of spectators at the stadiums will be a thing of the past. This is a proper occasion for me once again, on behalf of all Ghanaians, to congratulate the Black Satellites on their splendid victory in winning the nation's fourth Under-20 African Nations Trophy when they defeated Uganda by 2-0 on Sunday in Nouakchott, capital of the Republic of Mauritania. I call to the Black Satellites and to the technical and management team for their Independence Day gift. I look forward to receiving them at Jubilee House later this afternoon after I am done with you. To receive them this afternoon. Hopefully, this should be the beginning of a new era of success for Ghanaian football. Mr. Speaker, the creation of the 6 new regions led to the establishment of 6 new regional houses of chiefs. In my tour of the country last year, I inaugurated these new houses and cut the saw for the construction of 6 new buildings for them, which are ongoing. Government through the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs will continue to engage our traditional and religious rulers in matters of our common interest, such as the protection and preservation of the environment. Government is also determined to provide the funding necessary for the judicial committees of the various houses of chiefs to be able to do their work effectively and efficiently so as to bring closure to many long-standing chieftaincy disputes. Mr. Speaker, our nation continues to benefit from the year of return. Since then, we have intensified our engagement with Africans in the diaspora and all persons of African descent, more positively in areas such as trade and investment cooperation and skills and knowledge development, and what we call beyond the return. The Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, together with its implementing agency, the Ghana Tourism Authority, is working towards the realization of this initiative, which will bring even greater spotlight on our nation, Ghana. A lot of work has been undertaken in revamping our tourist sites and making them attractive. Digital revenue collection systems have been installed at the Elmina and Caicos castles, the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, and Vili waterfalls. Government has upgraded 5 tourism sites to meet international standards for increased visitation and create jobs and incomes for the people. The new minister for the sector, the industrialist Ibrahim Awal Mohammed, has also indicated his determination to strengthen the creative arts industry in Ghana. Already, the first ever creative arts senior high school, located in Kwadaso in Kumasi in the Ashanti region, is nearing completion. The governing board of the National Film Authority is in place, and even greater attention will be paid to this sector by government. Mr. Speaker, our quest to ensure an improved sanitation system across the country was bolstered last year by the commencement of construction of 16 integrated recycling and solid waste processing facilities. It is expected that all 16 facilities will be completed before the end of the year. The Sustainable Rural Water and Sanitation Project and the Water Supply Improvement Project of the Ghana-Spain Dead Swap Development Program have been completed. In September 2020, I joined the people of Amejofe, Jope, Akpokope, Batume Junction, Mache, Jolobokame, and surrounding communities to commission the 5 piped water supply systems under the project. Concrete preparatory works have also commenced on a number of water supply projects across the country, including the Waiting Water Supply Project, Ketar Water Supply Project, 5 Districts Water Supply Scheme Phase 3, Tamale Water Supply Project, Damango Water Supply Project, and Yendi Water Supply Project. Our efforts at ending open defecation received a boost with the construction of 103,149 toilet facilities for vulnerable households in towns and villages across the country under the Household and Institutional Toilet Program. The cumulative result of this has been that some 822,000 persons have benefited nationwide. Some 5,500 communities have also been declared open defecation free. Mr. Speaker, in the energy sector, the National Energy Policy 2020 has been completed to improve the framework and strategies to meet contemporary needs, energy needs of the country. The government has improved the financial sustainability of the energy sector through several interventions, including paying up the energy legacy debts that you left. Furthermore, negotiations with independent power producers, the terms of whose contracts entail substantial financial charges on the state, are ongoing and should be completed by the end of the year. This should result in a more affordable cost of power for the Ghanaian people. Under the National Electrification Scheme, a total of 1,436 communities have been connected to the national grid, which has increased the national electricity access rate to 85.17% as of October 2020. My ambition is that by the end of my term, the figure will be 100%. The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation has accelerated petroleum exploration activities in the inland Voltaigne Basin. It has successfully acquired and processed 2,538 line kilometers of 2D seismic data, analyzed 1,537 geochemical samples, and established a working petroleum system. A gas processing plant terrain is being constructed in the western region to complement the Atuabo gas processing plant so as to increase dry gas delivery for power and non-power users. The Takoradi portion of the Takoradi-Tema Interconnection Project, TTIP, has been completed with an increased capacity of gas exports from Takoradi to Tema through the West African Gas Pipeline. GNPC and its private sector partners have advanced the work on the Tema LNG project, Sub-Saharan Africa's first LNG regasification terminal, which is expected to come on stream in the course of the year to improve gas supply reliability for power and non-power industrial applications. The facility will also become a hub of regional energy security, ensuring low-cost fuel for both Ghana and her partners in the ECOWAS community. Mr. Speaker, at the beginning of my first term of office in 2017, government outlined its social development goals to include the promotion of gender equity and equality, survival and development of children, as well as the harmonization of social protection interventions and programs to contribute to the development of our nation. I'm pleased to inform the House that in the course of this session of Parliament, the new Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, the Honorable Sarah Adjoa Safo, MP, Member of Parliament for Domi Kwabenya, will resubmit to the House the Affirmative Action Bill. Our mothers, wives, sisters, and daughters are looking up to us. Indeed, it will make our society the richer. And I'm appealing to the House on both sides to make one big effort to ensure its enactment. The Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program, LEAP, has increased the number of pay points from 7,200 to 14,300 in order to make it easy for beneficiaries to access their grants. In all, a total of 334,438 households benefited from the program. The Ghana School Feeding Program currently feeds over 3,300,000 beneficiary pupils in some 9,000 kindergarten and primary schools with one hot, nutritious meal every day per child. Mr. Speaker, our commitment to the development of inner cities and Zongo communities is unwavering. Projects such as the construction of classroom blocks, astroturfs, establishment of ICT centers, installation of street lights, entrepreneurial and vocational skills training, supporting needy students, and the rehabilitation of access roads and drains have been undertaken. Another key policy initiative has been the reintroduction of the Arabic Instructors Program. The Zongo Coders Program and Start Hub program are initiatives meant to redirect the energies of young men and women of Zongo communities into productive ICT ventures. So far, several hundred young men and women have been trained under these programs. Mr. Speaker, activities of the then Ministry of Special Development initiatives, like those of the Inner City and Zongo Ministry, have been brought under the ambit of the presidency. The record of work undertaken in the ministry was remarkable. 568 units of 10-seater community water closets, 42 warehouses, 427 dams, 40 rural markets, 20 fully equipped community clinics, 307 fully equipped ambulances. Mr. Speaker, in the area of coastal management, we continue to improve the resilience of the country's coastline against tidal wave erosion that poses a significant threat to lives, livelihood, and properties of the people living along the coastline. Consequently, we've implemented a number of coastal protection works at Abuazi, Nkuntompo, Adjoa, Blekusu, Elmina, Dansoman, Amanfu, Kuma, Dix Cove, Axim, Cape Coast, Commander, Adumabo, and Ningo Pram, which protect in all a total stretch of some 54 kilometers and at our various stages of completion. Government has also implemented the National Food Flood Control Program with the overall goal of reducing the incidence of flooding across the country. The construction of the multi-purpose Pualugu Dam project is aimed at mitigating the regular floods that occur in the White Volta Basin, covering parts of the Upper East and Northeast regions. Preparatory activities started in 2020 and will be completed by the first half of this year, with actual construction commencing in the second half of this year. Commissioning is expected in 2025. It is the single largest investment in the northern part of Ghana made by any government. Once completed, it will add 60 megawatts of hydropower and 50 megawatts of solar power to the national grid, thereby improving the quality of power supply in the northern part of Ghana. The 25,000 hectare irrigation scheme will be bigger than the total size of all irrigated projects implemented in the country since independence, and will boost food production in the northern part of Ghana, thereby boosting economic development in northern Ghana and creating jobs for the youth. Mr. Speaker, another important infrastructure development is the construction of the Buankra Inland Port, which will transform totally inland trade and ease the movement of goods and services, especially for traders as well as for persons in our landlocked neighbors. The Korean contractors are due to start work any moment from now. Under housing, Mr. Speaker, the Government of Ghana Affordable Housing Program, which seeks to increase access to safe, secure, adequate, and affordable housing units across the country, is also continuing in earnest. Thus far, 1,464 units in Boteman, 1,027 in Asokore Mampo, and 312 housing projects have been completed in Gong. The Akufo-Addo, Tamale, and Wa housing projects have been handed over to the State Housing Company Limited for completion. Speaker, it is my intention to place special emphasis on resolving the problems of the housing sector in the country, because tackling the housing deficit is long overdue. Mr. Speaker, one of the ministries created in my first term as president was the Ministry of Railways Development, and the benefits of its creation are as showing. Government is mobilizing some $2 billion towards the development of railway infrastructure and services. To this end, government has rehabilitated a section of the narrow gauge western line from Kojokrom to Takwa through Nsota to facilitate the haulage of manganese from Nsota to the Takoradi port, and also to provide a passenger railway service along the corridor. Construction of the new standard gauge line from Kojokrom through Esiem to Manso is also ongoing. A 500 million euro contract has been signed for the construction of a standard gauge railway line from Manso to Huni Valley, a contract which includes the conversion of the narrow gauge tracks between Takoradi and Sekondi to standard gauge, and the development of standard gauge tracks from the Takoradi station to the Takoradi port for efficient and effective access for cargo handling. The development of the project will result in the construction of 102 kilometers of rail tracks between the port of Takoradi and Humni Valley. Contracts for standard gauge railway lines from Kumasi to Kase, Kase to Aduadin, Aduadin to Obuasi, Aduadin to Ejiso, with the linkage to the Buankra Inland Port, Manso to Dunkwa, have all been signed. The Tema to Mpakadan Railway project is currently about 80% complete, with the rehabilitation of the railway training school and 2 location workshops being completed. The Ghana School of Railways and Infrastructure Development, a school under the George Grant University of Mines and Technology, has matriculated its first batch of students and will begin awarding certificates and diplomas in engineering and other related courses. Mr. Speaker, in my inaugural address, I declared 2021 as the second year of roads. This declaration is intended to continue to prioritize road construction so that road projects that started under the Sino-Hydro facility will be completed, as well as interchanges that are at various stages of completion. Specific details of the road projects are going to be outlined in the budget that will be read on Friday. Mr. Speaker, government has granted policy approval for the establishment of a national flag carrier, a home-based airline with strategic partner participation. The House will be duly informed on developments in this area. Construction of the second and third phases of the Kumasi Airport, the second phase of Tamale Airport, and the rehabilitation of the Sunyani Airport are all proceeding satisfactorily. A decision on the siting of the proposed airport and the central and western regions is imminent. Mr. Speaker, in order to revive the fortunes of the Metro Mass public transport system, government has provided a total of 100 new intercity buses for Metro Mass Transit Limited, and an additional 100 buses for the Intercity STC Coaches Limited. The construction of a new dedicated container terminal at the Tema Port is ongoing, and 3 out of the 4 berths have been completed to facilitate maritime and inland waterways transportation. The development of a multi-purpose container terminal at the Takoradi Port is progressing. Removal of tree stumps along the navigable pathway at the Dambai to Dambai Overbank, Yeji Mankango and Yeji Awojepo has been completed to improve the safety of navigation and reduce significantly accidents on the Volta Lake. The construction of ferry landing sites along the Volta Lake at Dambai and Dambai Overbank is 68% complete, whilst that of Yeji, Mankango and Agodeke is 46% complete. In total, 7 rescue and high-speed patrol boats have been procured by the Ghana Maritime Authority and deployed into service to improve safety and security of our maritime domain and inland waterways. Mr. Speaker, our security services have been retooled and re-equipped substantially under this administration. Indeed, the first 4 units of 4-story blocks of 16 flats under the barracks regeneration project have been commissioned, and the remaining part of a 42-bedroom self-contained accommodation units for the 6th Battalion of Infantry and Airborne Force in Tamale have also been completed. Pickups, SUVs, trucks, high occupancy buses, ambulances, and armored personnel carriers have been added to the inventory of the armed forces over the period, as well as the imminent completion of a forward operating base at Ezimlibo in the Jomoro district of the Western region. And in response to the creation of additional ranks within the military, government reviewed salaries and allowances for armed forces and civilian employees upwards, effective 1st January 2020. The capacity of the Ghana National Fire Service has been raised with the procurement of 5 sets of extrication equipment and 2 hydraulic platforms procured. Indeed, when I took office in January 2017, the police service had a total of 492 serviceable cars. Government has since then procured for the police 735 additional vehicles, including 15 operational buses, a feat unprecedented in the history of the service. 320 housing units are being constructed at National Police Training School to reduce the accommodation deficits of the service. Modern communication equipment and fragmentation project jackets have been procured and delivered to the service to protect officers and ensure effective policing. The construction of hangars at the police depot, Accra, for 4 helicopters already procured for the Ghana Police Service is 95% complete. An air wing unit has been established by the Ghana Police Service, and 6 police pilots have been trained and passed out to man the wing. A new K9 unit has been established with 30 dogs and 30 police officers. The Criminal Investigation Department has been equipped with a digital forensics laboratory, and for the first time in the history of the department, crime officers are given a monthly allowance to support their investigations. We're retooling the CID Forensic Science Lab. The CID building has also now become disability friendly, and there's continuing training of CID officers. 84 apartment units are being constructed at Odoko in Accra for the immigration services, and they are 98% complete, and their completion will help reduce the accommodation challenges faced by officers and men of the immigration service. Government is also constructing an 800 inmate capacity remand prison at Islam, which is 60% complete. Its purpose is to reduce further overcrowding in prisons, as remand prisoners will now be kept separately from the convict population. Mr. Speaker, these large investments in equipping our security services is inspired by the recognition that the peace and stability of our nation are critical for our development, especially as we live in a difficult and sometimes dangerous world. Mr. Speaker, amongst the milestones of our international relations, I've been reappointed chairman of the authority of ECOWAS for a second term. Under my leadership and in collaboration with colleagues in the region, we have restored peace and political stability to Mali through a landmark transitional arrangement which brought under control a period of bloodshed and uncertainty, and which has committed itself to a roadmap for a peaceful democratic outcome from the tradition. In addition to strengthening and cooperation and deepening bilateral and multilateral trade and economic ties with host countries, it is exciting to note that presidential visits overseas have yielded significant dividends. The re-establishment of the Economic Trade and Investment Bureau of the Ministry has enabled the position of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a strategic partner to help facilitate domestic and foreign investments in the country. Indeed, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center has reported today a surge in foreign direct investment into our country of $2.1 billion United States dollars in 2020, compared to $1.1 billion the previous year, representing a more than 90% increase. Mr. Speaker, the sum total of all of this is that in spite of the ravages of the pandemic, our nation is still very much in rude health and remains very attractive to investors. Yes, we're reeling from the effects of COVID-19, but I am confident that with the progress of the vaccination program, we will recover quickly and work towards putting our nation back onto the path of progress and prosperity. We're building a more inclusive society, and soon things will work for all in Ghana. And then we will fulfill our true potential as the Black Star of Africa. Crucial to achieving this vision is my uncompromising commitment to strengthening the institutions of our democracy and managing public resources with integrity, fairness, openness, and accountability. Mr. Speaker, ours is not a government that shies away from public scrutiny. Far from it. That is not the NPP way. That is why in 2001, under the outstanding leadership of the second president of the Fourth Republic, His Excellency John Akufo-Addo, and with me as his Attorney General, the criminal libel law was repealed to protect and expand media freedoms in the country. And in 2003, the Public Procurement Act was introduced to protect the public purse. That is why it was my government that took the bold steps in 2008 to bring about the establishment of an independent prosecutor with the setting up of the Office of Special Prosecutor. That is why it was my government that in 2019 enacted the Right to Information Act, which had been shed by previous administrations despite decades of agitations and civil society groups and journalists. That is why within 2 years of being in office, we more than doubled funding for accountability institutions of state like SHRAG, EYOCO, the judiciary, and the Auditor General. Government and the people expect those in charge of our government institutions to do their work with professionalism and good faith. Indeed, the institutions of our nation, whether the executive, legislature, or judiciary, are working. The Supreme Court, Mr. Speaker, for example, last week determined the challenge to the validity of the 2020 presidential election and affirmed its validity in a unanimous decision. Not 5-4, not 5-4, unanimous. Mr. Speaker, the court has spoken. It is time for all of us to move on and in a united manner confront the problems of post-COVID-19 Ghana. Let me, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, recall the following statement I made in my very first message on the state of the nation, on the Ghana I hoped to help construct. A statement which is at the heart of everything government has sought to do since I took office in 2017. This government will be defined by integrity, sovereignty, a common ethos, discipline, and shared values. It is one where we aim to be masters of our own destiny, where we mobilize our own resources for the future, breaking the shackles of the colonial economy and a mindset of dependency, bailouts, and extraction. It is an economy where we look past commodities to position ourselves in a global marketplace. It is a country where we focus on trade, not aid, a hand up, not a handout. It is a country with a strong private sector. It is a country that recognizes the connectedness of its people and the economy to those of its neighbors. This requires a forward-looking vision for our country, enabling us to confront our challenges and embrace our opportunities, not one fastened in the rear view mirror. It is a Ghana beyond aid. Mr. Speaker, I remain wholly committed to the fulfillment of this vision. May God bless us all and our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. Thank you.
Honorable members, order, order, order. Honorable members, order, order. Honorable members, be seated. Honorable members, in accordance with Standing Order 58, I convey to His Excellency the President the gratitude of the House. Honorable members, again, in accordance with the practice of this House, a formal communication will be forwarded to His Excellency the President after the House has thoroughly debated this address. Honorable members, we have a lot of distinguished personalities who have come to grace the occasion. I'll now have the list with me. Honorable members, permit me to recognize the presence of the following dignitaries in the House. His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmudu Bawumia, the Vice President of the Republic, is here with us for this special event. His Lordship Justice Enim Yebua, honorable members, honorable members, I take it again. His Lordship Justice Enim Yebua, the Chief Justice of the Republic, is also here with us. Honorable members, I also will want to welcome and appreciate the presence of Her Excellency Mrs. Rebecca Na Akufo-Addo, the First Lady of the Republic of Ghana. Also, Her Excellency Hajia Mrs. Sabira Ramadan Baobia, the spouse of the Vice President. The last but not the least, honorable members, I don't know which of you has a girlfriend called Ramatu, but we don't have any dignitary here called Ramatu. Honorable members, we also have the Left Honorable Madam Alice Adjoa Yunas, spouse of the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament. Honorable members, apart from this, we have a list of dignitaries, including Nana Otuo-Sribwa, Chairman of the Council of State, our own former Member of Parliament, now the Chief of Staff, Honorable Frema Osei Opare. We have the Right Honorable Professor Aaron Michael Okwe, former Speaker of Parliament. Professor, we are most grateful for your presence. We have Honorable Fedible, Chairman of the New Patriotic Party. We have Honorable Samuel Ofusu Ampofo, Chairman of the National Democratic Congress. We also have Honorable John Boedu, General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. And our important traditional leaders are Debo Ngongo Wuya Kwesi Amle the Sixth, Osudoku Manche, and acting president of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs. We have Nene Kano Atiepa III, Ningo Mankrelo, and acting president of the Ningo Traditional Council. We have Nana Kabukuo Dumali the First, Paramount Queen Mother of Ada. We also have Nana Lomoki Lomo, Ada Traditional Council, and Na Asabu Abe the First, Paramount Queen Mother of Prapram traditional area. Let me also recognize the presence of a number of ministers of state, my lords, members of the bench, distinguished members of the Council of State, and your excellencies, members of the diplomatic corps. On behalf of honorable members of parliament, I appreciate and thank all of you for coming to grace this occasion. Honorable members, I will now invite our leaders, starting from the majority leader, to give an indication as to where we move from here. Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the Republic has this afternoon, pursuant to Article 67 of the 1992 Republican Constitution, delivered to this House a message on the state of the nation. Mr. Speaker, it's intended for us to begin the debate on the message beginning tomorrow. As we indicated to ourselves, we have just 2 days to do this. And accordingly, we'll begin the debate tomorrow at 10, and the House will have an extended sitting to continue on Thursday and hopefully to end in the evening of Thursday the debate on the content of the President's message to the nation. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House takes an adjournment until 10 o'clock tomorrow in the forenoon. I so move.
May we also hear from the Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, as noted by my colleague, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa, is here, has discharged his constitutional obligation, noting that Nana back, Ajapa back, with no comment on LGBTQ and no comment on the uninvestigated killings on December 7th, whilst we'll continue in the debate to remind him that we'll seek justice for Tajuddin Al-Hassan and Abdallah Ayarik. Now, Speaker, what is interesting is that we will debate the state of the nation and we'll debate the present record. But today, interestingly, he is silent on our national debt. 4 years ago, he said, I inherited this debt. What is the state of our national debt? With this, Mr. Speaker, my task is a simple one, is to second the motion for adjournment. But as he himself said, he contributed to enhancing media freedom with the repeal of the criminal libel law. But under his watch, freedom of expression have been fractured and hampered with the closure of FM stations that are NBC Pro. I beg to second the motion, Mr.
Honorable members, motion has been moved and seconded. I now put the question. As many as are in favor of adjournment, say aye. As many as are against, say no. Honorable members, I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The House is accordingly adjourned till Wednesday, 10th March 2021 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Once again, I thank honorable members.
Honorable members, we shall remain in our positions while His Excellency the President and his entourage go to sign the document. Members and invited guests are to remain in their positions while His Excellency the President goes to sign our visitors' book, please. Let's be in our positions, please.